The closed window. How fear of making mistakes prevents us from seeing opportunities. The comfort of the closed window. Imagine standing in a room with a large, beautiful window that looks out onto a breathtaking view, rolling hills, vibrant skies, endless possibilities. But instead of opening it to let in fresh air and sunlight, you keep it firmly shut, afraid of what might come in. Drafts, rain, or even unwelcome visitors. Many people live their lives this way. Not physically, but emotionally. They close the windows of their souls to protect themselves from uncertainty, rejection, and failure. While this may feel safe in the short term, it also blocks out the very things they need to grow: new experiences, opportunities, and lessons. In this video, we'll explore why the fear of making mistakes keeps us trapped behind closed windows, how embracing imperfection unlocks hidden potential, and why those who dare to open themselves up to failure are the ones who truly learn to soar. By the end, you'll understand that growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you're willing to crack the window and step into the unknown. So, if you're ready to stop hiding and start exploring, let's dive in. Why we keep the windows closed. The illusion of safety. Human beings have an innate desire for safety and security. Our brains are wired to prioritize survival, which historically meant avoiding risks that could lead to harm. In modern life, however, this instinct often manifests as resistance to anything unfamiliar or uncertain. We convince ourselves that staying within our comfort zones will shield us from pain or embarrassment. But at what cost? For example, consider someone who dreams of starting their own business but hesitates because they're terrified of failing. They stay in a stable job that offers financial security, believing they're protecting themselves from risk. Yet over time, they begin to feel stagnant, unfulfilled, and disconnected from their true passions. The closed window provides temporary shelter, but it also traps them in a confined space where growth is impossible. This illusion of safety creates a paradox. By avoiding risks, we inadvertently expose ourselves to a different kind of danger, the slow erosion of our potential. Without exposure to challenges, we miss opportunities to evolve, leaving us stuck in a cycle of monotony and regret. Fear of failure as a paralyzing force. One of the biggest reasons we keep our windows closed is the fear of failure. Society often stigmatizes mistakes, equating them with incompetence or weakness. From a young age, we're conditioned to believe that success is binary. You either win or lose, and that anything less than perfection is unacceptable. This mindset fosters a crippling fear of making mistakes. People become so focused on avoiding failure that they avoid taking action altogether. For instance, someone might dream of writing a book but never put pen to paper because they're afraid their work won't be good enough. Or they might hesitate to ask someone out on a date, fearing rejection. These fears act like locks on the window, keeping it firmly shut despite the beauty waiting outside. But here's the truth. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every great achievement has been paved with missteps, setbacks, and lessons learned along the way. Those who refuse to fail rob themselves of the chance to discover what lies beyond their limits. Perfectionism, the enemy of progress. Another barrier to opening the window is perfectionism, the belief that everything must be flawless before it can be shared or acted upon. Perfectionists obsess over details, delay decisions, and avoid situations where they might make errors. While this approach may seem admirable, it ultimately stifles creativity and innovation. Take, for example, an artist paralyzed by the idea that their painting must be perfect before it's shown to others. They spend months tweaking minor elements, only to find that their masterpiece remains unfinished and unseen. Meanwhile, another artist embraces imperfections, shares their work early, and receives feedback that helps them improve. Over time, the second artist grows exponentially while the first remains trapped in analysis paralysis. Perfectionism tricks us into thinking that avoiding mistakes equals excellence. In reality, it prevents progress and perpetuates stagnation. To unlock your full potential, you must release the need for perfection and embrace the messiness of growth. The cost of staying comfortable. Staying comfortable might seem appealing in the moment, but it comes at a steep price. When we cling to familiarity, we sacrifice curiosity, adventure, and transformation. Life becomes predictable, a series of routines designed to minimize discomfort rather than maximize fulfillment. Consider someone who avoids traveling to new countries because they're intimidated by language barriers or cultural differences. While staying home feels safer, they miss out on the richness of diverse perspectives, unforgettable experiences, and personal growth that travel brings. Similarly, someone who refuses to try new hobbies, take creative risks, or meet new people limits their ability to expand their horizons. Comfort breeds complacency, and complacency stifles ambition. If we want to thrive, we must be willing to trade short-term ease for long-term enrichment. Opening the window requires courage, but the rewards far outweigh the risks. Why opening the window is essential for growth. The power of fresh air, inviting new experiences. When you finally decide to open the window, even just a crack, you invite fresh air into your life. This fresh air represents new experiences, ideas, and perspectives that challenge your assumptions and broaden your understanding of the world. By stepping outside the confines of familiarity, you allow yourself to grow in ways that would never be possible behind closed windows. For example, imagine someone who has always avoided public speaking because they fear judgment or making mistakes. One day, they muster the courage to give a presentation at work. Though nervous and imperfect, they discover that their message resonates with others, sparking meaningful conversations and opening doors to future opportunities. That initial act of vulnerability, the willingness to make mistakes, becomes a catalyst for growth. New experiences teach us resilience, adaptability, and creativity. They force us to confront our fears, test our limits, and develop skills we didn't know we had. Each time we embrace the unknown, we build confidence in our ability to navigate uncertainty. Over time, these small acts of bravery accumulate, transforming us into stronger, wiser versions of ourselves. Learning through mistakes. The hidden gift of failure. One of the most profound benefits of opening the window is the opportunity to learn through mistakes. While society often portrays failure as something to avoid, it's actually one of the greatest teachers. Every misstep carries valuable lessons that planned successes simply cannot provide. Take Thomas Edison, who famously said about his countless attempts to invent the light bulb, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His persistence wasn't rooted in blind optimism. It was fueled by a deep commitment to experimentation and discovery. Each failure brought him closer to success, refining his approach and sharpening his insights. Mistakes strip away illusions of control, forcing us to confront reality head-on. They reveal weaknesses we need to address, highlight areas where we can improve, and remind us that imperfection is part of being human. When we reframe failure as feedback rather than defeat, we unlock its transformative power. Instead of fearing mistakes, we begin to welcome them as stepping stones toward mastery. Expanding your vision. Seeing beyond the pain. Opening the window also expands your vision, allowing you to see possibilities you couldn't perceive before. When you're trapped inside a closed room, your perspective is limited to what's immediately visible. But when you let in light and air, the horizon stretches infinitely farther. For instance, consider someone who decides to leave a monotonous job to pursue a passion project. Initially, they may feel terrified and uncertain, but once they take the leap, they encounter mentors, collaborators, and resources that propel them forward. Their field of view expands exponentially, revealing paths they never knew existed. What seemed impossible from within the confines of their old life suddenly feels attainable and exciting. This expanded vision isn't just external, it's internal too. As you open yourself up to new experiences, you begin to see your own potential more clearly. You realize that the boundaries you once believed were fixed are, in fact, malleable. With each step outside your comfort zone, you redefine what's possible for yourself and your life. The joy of discovery. Embracing life's breezes. Life's greatest joys often come from unexpected places, from moments of spontaneity, surprise, and serendipity. These breezes of delight rarely enter a closed room. To experience them, you must be willing to open the window and let the winds of change sweep through. Think about someone who decides to try rock climbing for the first time, despite their fear of heights. As they ascend the wall, heart pounding, they're rewarded with breathtaking views and an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. Or consider someone who strikes up a conversation with a stranger at a cafe, only to form a lifelong friendship. These moments of discovery happen when we take risks, however small, and allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Embracing life's breezes doesn't mean ignoring discomfort or blindly rushing into danger. It means acknowledging that growth requires leaning into the unfamiliar, trusting that the rewards will outweigh the challenges. The joy of discovery lies not just in the destination, but in the journey itself. The process of becoming someone braver, bolder, and more alive. How to open the window without fear. Step 1. Reframe failure as feedback. The first step to overcoming the fear of opening the window is reframing how you perceive failure. Instead of viewing mistakes as evidence of inadequacy, see them as valuable feedback that guides your growth. Every error contains a lesson, something you can learn from and apply moving forward. For example, if you bomb a presentation at work, instead of berating yourself, ask, what went wrong? And why? What could I do differently next time? What strengths did I demonstrate despite the outcome? This mindset shift transforms failure from a source of shame into a tool for improvement. It also reduces the pressure to be perfect, freeing you to take risks without fearing catastrophic consequences. Remember, every successful person has stumbled along the way. It's how they responded to those stumbles that set them apart. One practical exercise is to keep a failure journal. Whenever something doesn't go as planned, write it down along with the lessons you've learned. Over time, this practice helps you normalize failure and recognize patterns in your growth. You'll begin to see that mistakes aren't dead ends. They're detours leading to better paths. Step 2. Start small and build confidence. Opening the window doesn't mean throwing it wide open all at once. If you're used to staying closed off, start small by taking manageable risks that push you slightly outside your comfort zone. Each small success will build confidence, making it easier to tackle bigger challenges later. For instance, if public speaking terrifies you, begin by sharing your thoughts in a group setting or recording yourself speaking on video. If you're hesitant to try a new hobby, commit to attending one class or workshop to test the waters. If networking feels intimidating, challenge yourself to introduce yourself to one new person at an event. These incremental steps may seem minor, but they compound over time. Gradually, you'll find that the initial discomfort fades, replaced by a growing sense of competence and courage. The key is consistency. Keep nudging yourself forward, even if progress feels slow. Step 3. Cultivate a growth mindset. A growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning, is essential for embracing risk and resilience. People with a fixed mindset believe their talents are innate and unchangeable, which makes them fearful of failure because it threatens their self-image. In contrast, those with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to improve. To cultivate a growth mindset, replace phrases like, "I'm not good at this" with, "I'm still learning." Focus on effort rather than outcomes. Celebrate the process of trying, regardless of results. Surround yourself with people who encourage experimentation and celebrate progress. Over time, this perspective shift will make you more willing to open the window, knowing that setbacks are temporary and part of the journey toward mastery. Step 4. Practice self-compassion. When you're stepping into the unknown, it's easy to fall into self-criticism when things don't go as planned. Practicing self-compassion helps you navigate these moments with kindness rather than judgment. Treat yourself as you would a close friend, with understanding, patience, and encouragement. For example, if you make a mistake, remind yourself, everyone fails sometimes. It's part of being human. This doesn't define me. It's just one moment in my journey. I'm doing my best. And that's enough. Self-compassion reduces anxiety about taking risks because it softens the blow of failure. When you know you won't harshly criticize yourself for missteps, you feel safer exploring new territories. This emotional safety net empowers you to open the window wider and embrace uncertainty with greater ease. Step 5. Seek supportive environments. Opening the window is easier when you're surrounded by people who support your growth. Look for communities, mentors, or friends who encourage exploration and celebrate your willingness to take risks. These individuals can provide guidance, reassurance, and constructive feedback when you face challenges. For instance, joining a creative writing group can help someone afraid of sharing their stories gain confidence through positive reinforcement. Similarly, working with a coach or mentor can offer accountability and expertise as you navigate unfamiliar territory. Surrounding yourself with supportive influences creates a safe space to experiment and fail without fear of judgment. At the same time, distance yourself from toxic environments or relationships that amplify fear and discourage risk-taking. Protect your mental and emotional well-being by prioritizing connections that uplift and inspire you. Step 6. Embrace imperfection and curiosity. Finally, adopt an attitude of curiosity and playfulness as you open the window. Approach new experiences with a spirit of exploration rather than perfectionism. Ask questions, stay open-minded, and allow yourself to enjoy the process of discovery, even when it's messy. For example, If you're learning a musical instrument, focus on the joy of creating sounds rather than mastering every note perfectly. If you're starting a side hustle, celebrate the excitement of building something from scratch rather than obsessing over immediate profitability. By prioritizing curiosity over outcomes, you reduce the stakes and create room for genuine enjoyment and growth. Imperfection becomes less daunting when viewed through the lens of curiosity. Instead of asking, "What if I mess up?" ask, "What can I learn from this experience?" This shift in perspective invites lightheartedness and wonder back into your life, making it easier to embrace the unknown. How to open your window and embrace growth. Now that we've explored the importance of stepping outside your comfort zone and embracing imperfection, let's break it down into actionable steps you can implement today. These takeaways will guide you in opening the window to new opportunities, learning from mistakes, and fostering a mindset of curiosity and resilience. Step 1. Identify one area to take a risk. Start by pinpointing one area of your life where you've been holding back due to fear of failure or discomfort. It could be your career, relationships, health, or creative pursuits. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding because I'm afraid of making a mistake? What's the smallest step I can take to move forward? Once you've identified the area, commit to taking action, no matter how small. For example, if you've been hesitant to apply for a promotion, update your resume and schedule a meeting with your manager to discuss your goals. Small actions build momentum and courage over time. Step 2. Celebrate effort, not just outcomes. Shift your focus from results to effort. Instead of measuring success solely by achievements, celebrate the fact that you tried something new or stepped outside your comfort zone. Keep a journal where you document your efforts and reflect on what you learned, regardless of the outcome. For instance, if you start a fitness routine but don't see immediate results, acknowledge the discipline it took to show up consistently. By valuing the process, you'll feel more motivated to keep going, even when progress feels slow. Step 3. Create a safe space for experimentation. Give yourself permission to experiment without judgment. Designate specific times or situations where you allow yourself to try new things freely, knowing that mistakes are part of the learning process. For example, dedicate an hour each week to explore a new hobby. Set aside time to brainstorm ideas without worrying about feasibility. Practice public speaking in low-stakes environments, like talking to friends or recording videos for yourself. By creating these safe spaces, you'll gradually build confidence and reduce the fear associated with taking risks. Step 4. Surround yourself with encouraging voices. Seek out people who inspire and support your growth. Whether it's joining a community, finding a mentor, or connecting with like-minded individuals, surround yourself with voices that encourage experimentation and resilience. Share your goals with them and ask for accountability and feedback. At the same time, limit exposure to negative influences, people who criticize your efforts or discourage risk-taking. Protect your energy by prioritizing relationships that nurture your potential and remind you of your worth. Step 5. Reflect and reframe after setbacks. When setbacks occur, and they will, take time to reflect on what happened. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, reframe the experience as a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this situation? How can I use this insight to improve next time? What strengths did I demonstrate despite the challenge? This reflective practice helps you extract value from every experience, turning failures into stepping stones for future success. Step 6. Make curiosity your compass. Approach life with a sense of curiosity and wonder. Whenever you encounter uncertainty or fear, ask yourself, what can I discover here? How might this stretch me in ways I haven't experienced before? What's exciting about not having all the answers? Curiosity shifts your perspective from fear to fascination, making the unknown feel less intimidating and more inviting. By staying curious, you'll naturally gravitate toward growth and exploration, opening the window to a life of possibilities. Life is not meant to be lived behind closed windows. While keeping them shut may offer temporary comfort, it also blocks out the light, the breeze, and the endless opportunities waiting just beyond the glass. Growth requires courage, the courage to open the window, let in fresh air, and embrace the uncertainty that comes with it. Yes, there will be drafts, rain, and occasional storms, but these are not threats. They are part of the journey. They teach us resilience, adaptability, and the art of flying. Every mistake you make, every risk you take, brings you closer to discovering who you truly are and what you're capable of achieving. Those who refuse to fail remain grounded, trapped by their fear of falling. But those who dare to leap, despite the possibility of stumbling, learn to soar. As author Neil Gaiman once said, "You will learn more from failure than from success." Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Be afraid of repeating them. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's one area of your life where you've been holding back because of fear? How can you start opening the window, even just a crack, to invite new experiences and growth? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We're all here to support each other on this journey of discovery. Before you go, don't forget to hit that like button if this video resonated with you. Your support helps us reach more people who are ready to step into the unknown and embrace life's infinite possibilities. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more insights on personal growth, overcoming fear, and living a life full of purpose. And if you found this content valuable, check out our playlist on embracing change for tools to help you navigate life's transitions with confidence and grace. Thank you for watching. And remember, the view is always worth the climb. Open your window today and let the winds of opportunity carry you to new heights.